What's good, boy dudes and boy dudettes? Today we're going to take a look at Shrek. Yeah, the very first Shrek. And before it was a meme and just oversaturated by YouTube and any social media, it was just a great, interesting flick. But let's get into the nitty gritty. And it was a 2001 American computer animated comedy film loosely based on the 1990 fairy tale picture book of the same name by William Steig, directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen. In their directional debuts, it stars Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Carmen Diaz, and John Lithgow as the voices of their lead characters. And what's the film all about? Well, in the story, an old called Shrek finds that his swamp, overrun by fairy tale creatures who have been banished by the corrupt Lord Farquaad, aspiring to be king. Shrek makes a deal with Farquaad to regain control of his swamp in return for rescuing Princess Fiona, whom Farquaad intends to marry. With the help of Donkey, Shrek embarks on his quest, but soon ends up falling in love with the princess, who is hiding an interesting secret that will change his life forever. And the rights to the author's book were purchased by Steven Spielberg back in 1991, and the dude originally planned to produce a traditional animated film based on the book, but John H. Williams convinced him to bring the film to the newly founded DreamWorks in 1994. Jeffrey Katzenberg began active development of the film in 1995, immediately following the studio's purchase of the rights from Steven Spielberg. And Chris Farley was originally cast as the voice for the title character, and recording nearly all the required dialogue. After Farley died in 1997, before his work was finished, Mike Myers stepped in to voice the character, which was changed to a Scottish accent in the process. And the film was intended to be a motion captured, but after poor results, the studio decided to hire Pacific Data Images to complete the final computer animation. And the film premiered at the 2001 Cannes Film Festival, where it competed for the Palme d'Or, making it the first animated film since Disney's Peter Pan to receive that honor. It was widely praised as an animated film that featured adult humor and themes while also catering to children at the same time. And the film was theatrically released in the US on May 18, 2001 and grossed $484.4 million worldwide against a budget of only $60 million, and Shrek won the first ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, and it earned 6 award nominations from the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, aka the BAFTA, ultimately winning Best Adapted Screenplay. And the film's success helped establish DreamWorks Animations as a prime competitor to Pixar in feature film computer animation, and many sequels were released, and this film really did this film, you had Ants, which was a decent success, and The Prince of Egypt was also a pretty good success as well, and then you had movies like Road to El Dorado and Chicken Run, which were okay in the box office, but not as damn impressive as how Disney was at the time. But Shrek just was we are here, we are big. It nearly grossed 500 million at the box office at the time, which is pretty impressive for a new animation studio like DreamWorks, and this film really brought DreamWorks on the map. It really did put DreamWorks out there. It made them known, it made them, it made people aware of it. And you got critics like Roger Ebert praising the film, giving it 4 stars out of a possible 4, and describing it as a jolly and wicked film with sly and jokes, and yet somehow possessing a heart to it, And a lot of people did praise Eddie Murphy's performance, and let me talk about what I feel about the film. Let's talk about the good. That voice acting is so damn good, you've got these big stars in this film, but I feel like they really did a good job, They were really good at acting, And, sometimes when I watch animated films now, I feel like some films, they just hire big names and they don't always sound that good, you know. But like for this film, like yeah, they were big stars, but they did a really damn good job with the voice acting, you know. Shrek is just, oh, everyone's gotta love Shrek, you know, and we all kind of relate to him. Heck, I relate to Shrek more than ever. Like this outcast who no one likes, you know, and he's used to being that way, but he wants more out of life, you know. In a way, Shrek is kind of the princess that he's saving, you know, and he deeply wants to be with people, but he knows that he can't and all that. Eddie Murphy as Donkey is just flipping damn hilarious. Every time he opens his mouth, you just gotta crack up laughing, you know. He's just so adorable. Before we had Olaf, we had Donkey back in our day, you know, and he was great. And Cameron Diaz as Fiona, you know, she is a sassy princess. She is feisty and just funny and just entertaining. And John Lithgow as Farquaad is funny guy. I love the design on him, how short he is, you know. And I feel like I like this film because it kind of subverts our expectations of like story, like, you know, like we are so used to this. Like this film came out in 2001 and Disney just finished their Renaissance era, so we had all these big princess films, you know, about, you know, like all these big princess movies. And what I like about this film is that it just takes the fairy tale subgenre and it just kind of turns it on its head, you know. So like the handsome prince is not that tall, you know. Fiona isn't, you know, wistfully taken away from the castle. It's quite a bit of a mess, and yeah, I like all the fairy tale creatures and just like some of the jokes. Like there's a funny joke where Farquaad's with the gingerbread man and they're talking about the muffin man and wondering where he is, and it's, I don't know, I flipping love that joke and it was really great. And the thing about this film is that for a PG, I mean, it is, you know, this film was possibly at the time the most adult animation. Like it was like not just for kids but for grown-ups as well. There's a lot of adult humor in it, which kind of like threw me off at times. You know, it was like, whoa, there's a lot of adult jokes in it. And unlike Ants, this film is colorful. There's a lot of vibrant colors and it's much better. You know, I feel like the characters look a little bit better. Like they get some effects like grass, like I don't know, but the grass in this film looks so good, you know. Couldn't stop looking at it. And yeah, it's a really great film, you know, with a lot of great inside jokes and just a great theme, you know. And yeah, in terms of my mixed aspects, I don't really have much, but it's not negatives. I would say it's mixed. It's the animation itself, you know, like it's a dated film. This movie looks so dated because it's CGI and just the way the characters move, it looks like a video game at times, to the point where it's kind of distracting. It has this kind of, it looks ugly at times, the animation, and it kind of puts you off. And looking at the future Shrek films, like how much they've improved, it's wow, just amazing, you know. But hey, we all gotta come from somewhere, you know. And overall, Shrek is a laugh out film with adult jokes far out right and center, but also it's targeted to kids as well, and it's got a lot of heart, and it's a great flick to watch. I'm gonna give Shrek 7.5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a B+. It's a pretty good film, you know. I kind of just feel like there's other better Shrek movies out there, you know. I feel like the second one might have been better, like from what I remember. I mean, only kind of time can tell. But anyway, thank you for watching this review. Please like and share this video and comment down below. And tell me what's your favourite DreamWorks flick. With that said, thank you for watching. And as always, Boarded Review signing out.